Your Honor, honorable members of the jury, thank you for your time in observing and moderating this case. My name is Aurelia Gonzalez, and this is my co-counsel, Dusty Goldencolumn. I will be making the opening remarks for the prosecution. This case concerns an abused woman who recently murdered her husband. On the night of December 18th, Barbara Barrett and her husband, John Barrett, quarreled over an unknown topic. In the midst of the argument, shots were fired by Ms. Barrett, and when it was all over, John Barrett was dead. The entire scene was witnessed by Lee Porter, the housekeeper, who wisely called the police when she realized what had happened. Officer C.M. Cheney was the one to report to the scene of the crime. Today we will prove that Barbara Barrett murdered her husband in cold blood. Our first witness will be Officer Christopher M. Cheney, the police officer dispatched to the scene of the crime, who took Barbara Barrett into custody. Officer Cheney will testify about his interaction with the defendant and the things he witnessed at the Barrett household. He will also speak about the analysis of the crime scene that he obtained. Our second witness will be Dr. Johanna R. May, the pathologist who examined John Barrett's body. She will testify about the probable cause of death and the physical evidence that she found. She will provide firm evidence that John Barrett was shot by his wife. Our third and final witness will be Lee Porter, who holds vital information about the case. As the Barrett's housekeeper, Ms. Porter was privy to the goings-on of their household for 6 months prior to the murder. Her testimony will help to determine that this heinous act was premeditated, and that Ms. Barrett was fully prepared for it. We are asking that this court find Barbara Barrett guilty of murder. On December 18th, Barbara Barrett knowingly committed an unforgivable crime. She is a highly dangerous individual, and an incident of this severity cannot be allowed to happen again.
All right, thank you. And at this time, the defendant may present opening statement.
Hello, Your Honor and members of the jury. My name is Joshua Goldencolumn, and I will be making the opening remarks in this case. Allow me to introduce my co-counsel, Jaden Nelson, and I'll also like to introduce my witnesses, Barbara Barrett and Dana McGuire. Now, this case is about a shooting in which it is believed that the deceased was the victim, but that is in fact not the truth. Mrs. Barrett was the victim of too many a crime. In facing death, she acted out of self-defense and stopped the reign of terror her husband had over her. On the night of the shooting, Mr. Barrett came home with a message from Mrs. Barrett. He was divorcing her. Now, Mrs. Barrett took this as a sign that all her